Nuno, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Practical Pydantic, the missing guide to data validation in Python. I was wondering if you could take a moment to talk to all of us a little bit about yourself and about what your book is about and who it's for.
Thank you. Well, my name is Nuno. I'm originally from Portugal, but currently I'm in the Netherlands. My day job, so to speak, I'm a software architect in a multinational company here in the Netherlands for the past 8 years. That's why I come to the Netherlands. And in my free time, since the work is more related with low code platforms, so in my free time, I started getting more and more enthusiastic about high code platforms or high code languages in this case, and obviously Python is one of the biggest ones, and JavaScript also, but I mostly fall into Python, in liking Python. And for the past 5 years, I think, like most people, since COVID, you had a bit more of free time, so you started exploring other things. I started writing technical blogs and starting to learn a little bit about other technologies, platforms. It was around the same time that AI was coming out, so another world to kind of sip into, which also Python with machine learning has a lot to offer. And in the meantime, I started discovering all these libraries like Django for web frameworks, FastAPI for building more APIs. In the meantime, I discovered Pydantic also. And what struck me about Pydantic, and one of the reasons why I started writing the book, which hopefully will be finished in the next couple of weeks, but why I started writing the book is Pydantic has very good documentation, but I didn't see any book offerings in the market concrete about Pydantic. Pydantic always ends up being kind of shoved a bit to the side as chapter 5 in FastAPI book number 15.
Right.
And I don't think that's is a reflection of how much the library is important and how much the library has influence, not just in FastAPI. The FastAPI itself would not fully exist as it is these days without Pydantic. It's one of the core libraries that FastAPI uses. But I think people don't notice or don't have the notion that you can use Pydantic for much more than just validate the input requests on an API or to validate the outputs. And that's what I try to show in my book. I try to show that it's in a very practical way, the ways that you can use Pydantic just beyond using it as an API. Because you can use it or more or less all types of validations that you want. And what I don't see described in a lot of places is how easy it is to use Pydantic for machine learning or for pipelines. Because for both of them, the basis is you need to have good input data. If you don't have good input data, your output is going to be garbage. Garbage in, garbage out, like people used to say. So,
Yeah.
and that's what I try to show in the book is how you can use for ETL pipelines, how important it is to use Pydantic, for instance. Of course, there's other libraries, but my book focus on Pydantic, how we can use Pydantic to make sure that your source data is at the minimum acceptable, usable situation. So you can make sure that the rest of your pipeline is secure and you have the rest of the data processed as you expect, and you don't certainly start training, for instance, an AI model based on some data and 6 hours into a processing that you're renting in the cloud that's costing you $1,000. It's all of a sudden breaks because some data is not as it should be. And so that's what I want to try to bring with the book, kind of with a practical aspect. I speak very little or I describe very little of the theory because I assume some knowledge of the people reading the book, but also because I want to focus on using it in practical aspects, how to read JSON files, how to read CSV files, how to use it in the pipelines. Because the important thing is, yeah, it is easy to know the Pydantic exists and I use it in FastAPI, but applying it to other parts of your programming and other parts of your flows, that's what I think it was something lacking in the market, and yeah, that's why I started writing the book.
Yeah, thanks very much for that great description of the book's nature and its story. I can say I look at a lot of these books, and this is a very clearly, very deliberately, very clearly written book that's very practical, and very clearly sets out the problem that Pydantic is meant to solve, and then these different ways you can use it, that some of which might be unexpected. And yeah, I definitely recommend it for anyone interested in this area and in learning more and getting better at doing it. One question I have for you. So your book is currently marked as 50% complete. Anyone watching this who doesn't know, Leanpub books can be published serially. So if you buy it, you get all the updates for free in the future. Do you have a plan for the rest of the book? Are you going to be publishing a week or?
The rest of the book itself is written.
Oh, it is.
I'm just validating the code examples to make sure that everything is 100%, which I will also launch along with the book once the book is finished. Also the GitHub with the full code that is using in all the examples. So the book itself is written. The rest of the chapters, it is 14 chapters if I remember correctly, with one appendix. And so the book itself is written. So I hope to have it come out in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Just making sure that the code works as it's intended and that it's perceivable, and adding comments to the code and stuff like that. But the book itself is written, so it should not take long to be coming out the rest of the book.
Fantastic, fantastic. The book is Practical Pydantic, The Missing Guide to Data Validation in Python. Nuno, thank you very much for taking the time to do this launch video with all of us.
Thank you for having me, and I hope people enjoy reading the book and learn a new side of Pydantic.